Hello, everyone, and welcome to the AWS Nordics Office Hours with me, Gunnar Grosch. I am a developer advocate here at AWS, and this is our weekly show from the Nordics, where I invite a guest onto the show to talk about a specific topic, and you, our viewers, are able to ask any questions you might have. And hopefully, by the end of the hour, you have learned something new. And as usual, if you have any questions throughout the show, post them in the chat. We'll try to get through them throughout the hour. And don't worry if we don't get your question straight away. We might add your question where it is relevant throughout the stream. So this week, I am joined by Thomas Rindfors. He is an Amazon Connect consultant with professional services at AWS. And usually, I have guests on that are based in the Nordics and are experts within AWS. But this time we've turned things around a bit. Thomas, you are from the Nordics, but you don't live in the Nordics.
That's correct. I used to live and work in Sweden, but about 8 or 9 years ago, I moved to the US. My wife's from Florida, and she was homesick for warmer climates, I guess. And so I've been living and working out of Orlando since then. And for the past 9 or 10 months, I've been working with Amazon as an Amazon Connect specialist consultant with our professional services segment. And we help our customers implement and realize solutions, sometimes with the help of partners and sometimes just with professional services.
All right. So welcome to the show, Thomas. Great to have you with us. And you mentioned that you work for professional services and that you work with Amazon Connect. And Amazon Connect is the topic for this hour. We're going to talk about how to reinvent your contact center with Amazon Connect. So let's start from the beginning, as we usually do. Just tell us, what is Amazon Connect and how are we going to look at Amazon Connect throughout this hour?
Yeah, so Amazon Connect is a cloud-based contact center as a service where you only pay for what you use, and you're not stuck paying for all kinds of hardware and licenses and paying by what's usually referred to as seats in the contact center industry. So I'll start with just doing a quick presentation kind of on the background of Amazon Connect, and then we'll dive into the Amazon Connect interface and kind of show you some things in there. And I have a couple of demos to show you how you can build on that and add some cool features.
All right. So let's jump into the presentation you're going to show us to begin with, Thomas, just to give some quick information about what Amazon Connect is and what it can do.
Sure.
So I've opened up your screen share.
So let's start with talking about history. So Amazon Connect strives to be Earth's most customer-centric company. And 12 years ago, Amazon Retail was starting to see just enormous hockey stick growth. We had more products than ever, more customers than ever, and to really be able to focus on ensuring the highest possible levels of customer satisfaction, we needed the right people and processes, but we also needed a contact center technology that was capable of ensuring customer service and satisfaction at scale. Now, today, over 70,000 Amazon customer service associates supports millions of customers, speaks dozens of languages in 32 countries across the globe. Now, we knew that in order to scale to this size and to deliver exceptional customer service at this scale, we needed the right technology in place. So 12 years ago, we initiated a search to evaluate available products. Now, the technology we were looking for, it needed to be scalable. We knew the trajectory of the growth we were seeing, but we also needed to cater for rapid changes in demand. Now, we've got Prime Day coming up here on June 21st. And during our Prime Day sales, there's a significant increase in traffic to our online store, but there's also a significant increase in calls to our customer service centers. And the technology needed to be able to really take on those additional thousands of agents to handle that peak load and then scale back literally the next day. And ultimately, we found that traditional call center technologies we looked at, they just weren't able to meet our demanding requirement. So we built it as a contact center as a service, initially as an internal tool. Now, over time, our AWS customers would meet with our CEO, Andy Jassy. He's the CEO of AWS. And they'd ask him, what technology are you guys using internally for your contact centers at Amazon? And they'd tell them that we're using an internal tool. And quite often he'd hear that if you bring that to market, we'd be very interested in that. And he kept hearing this again and again. So eventually, Andy funded a team to bring this internal tool to market. And we did in March of 2017 as Amazon Connect. And today, over 50 groups and businesses within Amazon and its subsidiaries provide customer service today. Now, Amazon Retail alone has over 100 global contact centers and over 70,000 agents. So this shows you that with Amazon Connect, you can have something as small as just tens of agents. And I've developed solutions like that for university help desks and such. But it can also grow all the way up to tens of thousands of agents like Amazon Retail. Now, Amazon Connect includes all the standard functionality a contact center operations team would expect. So we have skills-based routing to maximize the efficiency of your agents and connect the right customer to the right agent at the right time. We have voice and chat interactions that are recorded to make it easy to monitor, improve agent quality. And it has all the common reports and analytics you'd come to expect. It's things like service level, average handle time, agent performance. And our customers also often tell us that they really love the audio quality that they get with Amazon Connect. And all you need is a standard broadband internet connection and a USB headset, and your agents can be located virtually anywhere. And we found that our customers really have loved that during COVID because it's giving them the flexibility to allow their agents to work from home. So here's a few of the customers that are using Amazon Connect today. So we have thousands of customers that have adopted Amazon Connect. You may have heard at last year's keynote, Andy Jassy was mentioning that Amazon Connect is one of the fastest growing services in AWS history. And that's a velocity that's only increased since then, especially with COVID. Over 5,000 new customer service centers have been set up in March and April alone. Now, like I mentioned, that during COVID, we've had a lot of new customers that they've seen that their legacy solutions just haven't been able to scale to handle the increased load. Quite often, they'll be on an on-premise system, and so they're very limited with the incoming phone lines. So they can handle a very set maximum number of phone calls. I've worked on a project with the state of Rhode Island, their unemployment system, and they really got hit when COVID hit. Unemployment spiked, and they got just flooded with calls. So they switched to Amazon Connect, and they designed, configured, and implemented Amazon Connect in just 10 days. And on their first full day of operations, their new customer service center enabled nearly 75,000 Rhode Island residents to successfully file for unemployment. So that's a pretty cool success story. Now, the majority of benefits that real Amazon Connect customers describe are intelligent automation, better customer insights, and a customer center flexibility. So we'll have a quick look at how Amazon Connect helps customers in these areas. So this is a fairly typical example of an IVR. I think you guys probably recognize it. It could be a touch-tone DTMF menu, press 1 for sales, press 2 for support, or it could be a first-generation speech-enabled system. So you could maybe press 1 or say sales. So let's have a look at an alternative approach instead. Something you could build with Amazon Connect to provide something a bit more personalized and dynamic and use a bit of intelligent automation. Let's see.
Hi, Nikki Wolf. I apologize that your flight was canceled. I can rebook you for the next available flight, departing at 10 p.m. Would you like to book that now?
No, I'd rather rebook for the same time tomorrow. Is that possible?
Yes, that flight is available departing at 9 a.m. out of San Francisco, arriving in Seattle at 11:45 a.m. I can book you in seat 12C. It's an aisle. Would you like me to do that?
Yes, thank you.
Now, while this demo is designed to show you what's possible, it isn't really that hard to build something like this with Amazon Connect, to proactively look up the customer in the CRM using their phone number and see that the flight's been delayed. That's probably why they're calling, right? So then you automatically offer to rebook. We use Amazon Lex for automatic speech recognition and natural language understanding. So when the customer says that they want to rebook and they say tomorrow, we can understand the intent is to rebook. Tomorrow, Lex will automatically translate that into tomorrow's date, which makes it very easy to just send that into an API. Now, using that information, we can offer an alternative flight and provide the details for it. Using the power of Amazon Connect and AWS, you can easily connect to virtually any backend system in real time, allowing you to provide this kind of experience. As long as there's an API, we can connect to it. So I think at this point, we'll switch over and have a look at what Amazon Connect looks like if we use the Amazon Connect console. Let me shut this down for a sec. And
so
move.
If you just joined us in the meantime, this is the AWS Nordics Office Hours. I'm joined by Thomas. Today we're talking about Amazon Connect and how to reinvent your contact center. Thomas has just given us a brief overview of Amazon Connect and what we can do easily with Connect. So now time to look at some more examples straight out of the console.
Yeah. So this is what it looks like when you log in to Amazon Connect. So it's a bit different than the AWS console. Amazon Connect has its own interface. So this is the first page you'd be greeted with when you log in. And on this dashboard, you can see the things you'd need to do to kind of configure and set up when you first create an instance. So you can explore your channels of communication. You can test what chat would look like. You can set up your hours of operation. So this is your opening hours. And you can have a couple of these. Either you have a single one for when you're open or when you're closed. Maybe you have more than one phone number, and one is for your main contact center, one is for your help desk. Or you might even set up a third set of opening hours for when you want to have callbacks enabled, for example. You can go in here, you can create queues, and these are our skills. So you can have a queue for billing, a general queue for general questions and such. You can create prompts. Now, we generally use text-to-speech using our service called Poly to generate text-to-speech. But if you want to, you can upload WAV files here to use recorded speech. You can go in and create contact flows, and this is how we design our customer service experience, how chats and voice calls are, how they flow and how they branch and how the logic works. We also have routing profiles and a way to create users. So if we have an agent, that agent will have a routing profile, and that routing profile will consist of a number of queues, one or more. So you can have a routing profile that has say a billing queue as a priority 1, and it might have a general queue as a priority 2. So that way they'll take billing queue questions as long as there are customers calling in about billing. But if there's no billing questions in there, if there's nobody in that queue, then they'll take general questions. And you can set up some delays too. So they might only take a question from the general queue if that person has been on the phone in that queue for 30 seconds, just so that that way they will take a billing question if one pops up before those 30 seconds.
So just on the surface here, it looks fairly simple to go through those steps to set this up. You work for ProServe
in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you work for ProServe, so you help customers setting these solutions up. But how do you typically see? Do you see a lot of customers set up Amazon Connect themselves? Is that common?
So we have a lot of customers that set this up themselves. You can set this up and build a basic contact center in just a couple of minutes. If all you need is a phone number, call in, be greeted, welcome to my company, and get a menu where they can choose what they're calling about, and then get routed to specific agents with specific skills. That takes minutes. It's just that easy. Where you might want to bring in professional services or make sure that you have your own developers that can help you is if you want to do more things like integrate with the backend system and pull up customer profiles, those kinds of things. So in here, you also have your metrics and quality. You have real-time metrics and historical metrics. I won't go in too much into those because I think we could spend an entire hour just talking about reporting. So I just encourage people to spin up their own Amazon Connect instance and go explore in there. We'll have a quick look at some real-time metrics later in a demo. And we can do a contact search in here. So if you want to find a specific phone call from earlier this morning, for example, you can go in and you can search by that phone number. Or if you enable some artificial intelligence and machine learning, we have a service called Amazon Connect that can be enabled that will automatically transcribe every phone call. So now you can actually go in and you can do a contact search saying, okay, find me all phone calls where a customer said that they wanted to cancel their subscription. So that way it's very easy to go in and look at specific types of phone calls. Or say phone calls where a customer said that they want to speak to a manager, for example.
So there's a question in the chat about lookup of a number. So let me just put it up on screen. How does a lookup of a number against user details work?
So suppose we can just, if we create a contact flow, just kind of show roughly how that works.
I told you in advance that we're going to mess up your flow for the demo, so you're prepared for this, Thomas.
Yeah. So we can just grab one of these, I suppose. Let's see, should be in here. Nope. Contact flows. Can just jump into an existing one. So this is what a contact flow looks like. So essentially you have drag and drop functionality in here. And if you want to, you can just go in here and you can use a certain, let's see, if we grab an integrate block here. So you can call a Lambda function just using this block. And in here, you can select what parameters you want to send in to this backend Lambda function. And in here, you can select to use either just hard code something, or you can select an attribute. And in there, we have a list of pre-populated attributes. So we'll use a system attribute in this case. And here we can use the customer's number. So that would take the number, the caller ID number, and it would send that in as an attribute. So we could call that caller ID. Now, if you up here, you would reference a Lambda. So I guess these are all the Lambdas that I have available right now. But you would go in and make the Lambda available for Amazon Connect. And then it would then be in this drop down, and you could be able to send in the phone number as a parameter.
Right. So what you're basically saying is that we can set this up any way we want. We can use that Lambda function to query a DynamoDB table. We can query RDS table, any type of system that has API access, whatever way we want. We can just use the Lambda function to fetch that data.
Absolutely, or query something like Zendesk or Salesforce to bring back the customer's profile, so we can see all kinds of useful information about it.
All right, cool.
So let's see. Here we have rules. So these are actually rules associated with our machine learning. And let's see. I realized I'm logged into the wrong instance, so I'm going to need to go log into the right one. But in here we have when we do our real-time transcription, we can actually react to what the customer or the agent, what they're saying in real time. So we don't have to wait and come in after the fact. So we'll have a demo on this shortly to kind of show how that works. And here in routing, we have this is where we go in and set in the queues and the routing profiles and such. And in user management, here's where we can go in and add users manually. Now you can also integrate your single sign-on system like Okta, for example, into this to allow your users to log in with their normal username and password to get into Amazon Connect.
So you're showing a few things in the console right now. What about programmatic access, for instance? Is there a CLI as well for Amazon Connect?
So you can use just your normal AWS CLI to do certain things in Amazon Connect. So a lot of the things you can do in here, there are APIs for. Not everything yet, we're getting there. But you can do things like programmatically push new users into Amazon Connect, or even publish contact flows, or pull them from one instance, modify them and upload them to so you could pull them from your dev instance, modify them and push them into your production instance, for example.
And CloudFormation support as well.
For some of the features, and similarly, that's where the service team is working on getting a comprehensive support, but not on every feature quite yet.
All right.
So give me a sec here, and I'll just make sure that I'm logged into the account that I need. You're seeing the demo that I'm about to give here.
So if you have any questions in the meantime, just put them in the chat and we'll get to those as well. There's a question around the APIs and the Amazon Connect API. And I'm not sure I get the question exactly. The question is if there's a complete, or why there isn't a complete Amazon Connect API.
So really, that's because the Amazon Connect, since it only came out 4 years ago, there are still some things left to do. We're very close to having a complete set, and they're working on the last bits as we speak.
All
so
right.
it's on its way. So there we go.
Define it.
We'll go into Amazon Connect here. Just jump into my instance here.
So when you talk about an instance, is that an instance of a contact center? Is that
yes? So if you have an AWS account, you can have several instances of Amazon Connect in it. So even if you have a single account, you could potentially have a dev instance and a prod instance in that account, though that's not something I would recommend. I really, really would suggest that you have separate accounts for dev and prod. But you might have, say, if you wanted to separate your service desk instance from your customer service instance, for example. So let's do a quick demo of what a chat experience might look like in kind of the out of the box experience. So if we click test chat here, we can actually kind of like a little debug function here within the console, where you can, if you click test settings, you can choose which of these contact flows you want to test and get an experience of what that would look like. So in this case, it's just going to connect the customer and immediately connect them to an agent. So let's see. Yep, transferring you to the next available agent. And we need to be online here as the agent. And it will show up here, John Doe calling in. We can accept that. And if we say hello here. Here, you can see while you're typing, something shows up. So this is kind of your basic chat experience. And I'll jump into a demo right now to show how you can extend and build on that to have your own custom experience for chat as well, if you want something more advanced. But this is something you can set up in a couple of minutes without really any developer skills at all.
Right. So easily integrate that chat into your existing website.
Exactly. You can actually go in and let's see if we go to the dashboard. There is a customized chat widget here. And essentially it's a step-by-step. You can set up the colors of your chat boxes and whatnot. And you follow step-by-step, and it'll give you a little script that you can put on your website to get this chat widget on there that will connect to the contact flow that you desire. So let me go find my demo here that you actually saw the first page of just now. Here we go. And I think I may need to log into a different account again for this to work.
And the scenario here is a ride service company.
Yep. So this is our totally fictional ride service company that's handling a customer service and where you need to chat with a representative. So let me open up the agent's experience on that as well.
It's always hard with demos when you have to have different hats on to be both the customer and the agent in this case.
Yeah, we'll start here logging in. We'll log in as Jane Doe, and this is not related to Amazon Connect. This is entirely built just as a demo. So in this case, Jane Doe logs in, and we've built just a fake rideshare service in here. So we're welcoming Jane Doe. She's looking at her customer profile on this rideshare service, and she can see that she's a platinum member here, and she's she's booked a ride for tomorrow, and she wants to check what the timing was on that ride, when she's going to get picked up and such. So we have our chat down here in the corner. So we start with some self-service here. So Jane Doe connects. Our Lexbot says, "Hi Jane Doe, welcome to the new ride assistance service. Thanks for being a platinum member." So it really picks up what her membership status is here, and how can we help you today. And she could say she wants to check my ride. And I need a space in here. And what's the trip number? 1111. And what's the trip date? And we'll say tomorrow. That'll get translated into tomorrow's date for the API call. So you want to look up the trip details for 111 scheduled for tomorrow? Yes. And it goes off and it fetches the details. Now, in this case, she wants to ask some additional questions, and she really wants to speak to an agent. So she says, "I want to speak to an agent." Sure, how do you want me to connect you? So here we can actually offer to call them back, or in this case, we'll just demo the chat functionality. So we'll say, "Yeah, I want to chat to an agent." And I'll try to bring in our agent here on the other side, and we'll accept this call. Let's see if we can fit all of this on a single page without messing up the look and feel of this.
A bit squeezed.
Yep. Might be able to take a bit more space here. So now we're speaking to an agent, and the agent here can see the entire history of this conversation, everything she's talked to the bot about. So she knows, or this agent knows the context. So in this case, this Jane Doe, she wants to bring a pet. She has a dog that she wants to bring on this car ride. And let's say that she speaks Swedish, and so she'll actually say, "Can I bring a pet?" And so we can enable a translation in here as a customization. So we can see here that she types in Swedish. The agent's language is set to English here, and so it can automatically translate that. And so the agent now sees, "Can I bring a pet?" even though it was entered in Swedish. And we can, up here, we can see our sentiment analysis, whether or not the analysis says that this is a happy conversation, or if the customer is upset. And this will update dynamically. So if Jane Doe says that she's really angry, then this will turn down, and we'll see that she's angry. You can do some analysis afterwards and find phone calls or chats where, say that the conversation started out all happy and it ended with a customer that was angry. So you can look up those calls to see if you want to, or if you need to provide additional training for your agents. They're doing something wrong. Or likewise, you can find calls where the customer comes in and they're super angry, but the agent turns it around and everybody's happy at the end. So you can see that if you want to find agents that are really good at what they do, if you want to hold them up as a good example. Now here, you can also see, we asked, "Can I bring a pet?" And over here, we have suggested actions. We've implemented Kendra, or a service that goes off and indexes knowledge databases. We can index with RDS. We can put PDFs in S3, all kinds of things that Kendra can index, and it can bring back relevant information from there. So we can see here, it's found 2 different knowledge databases about bringing a pet. And the agent can click on these, and it can use the thumbs up and thumbs down to determine, was this a good response or not? That way, Kendra knows for next time to maybe not surface this one if it wasn't a good one. So say that the agent thinks that, oh, this is a good one. We can use this canned response. They click use that, and it shows up in agent response here. We can choose to personalize this. We'll say, hi Jane. In accordance with state and federal laws, this and that, and we'll send that to the chat. And now the system knows that last conversation was in Swedish, so it now translates this response into Swedish as well. And let's see, we could actually shut down, say that Jane accidentally shuts down her web browser. We can kill that. And let's log in back into that demo site. So she logs back in. Jane Doe. And she'll go and open her chat window again. This looks a bit weird now because it's all compressed, but get the idea. So when she opens this up, her chat and history is all still here. And likewise, if the agent ends this conversation, so we click end chat here, we can now park this conversation in Amazon Connect. We can park it for up to 25 hours and just wait. And maybe 2 hours later, she comes back and goes, oh, wait, I had another question. We'll close this contact over here. Well, if I could spell that correctly too. I had another question. In this case, you can see that this is transferring back to the very same agent. So that this is all configurable. If they choose to reestablish a chat that was ended, you can either route back to the exact same agent, or you can route it to the same queue that it was routed to before, or you can choose to route it to a different queue entirely. Say that you want to prioritize these returning customers that had another question, so they don't have to wait as long. That's all doable.
Cool. Can we try the sentiment, see if she gets upset?
Oh yeah. I am so upset. It is not great. Well, then we get our little frowny face here on the other side.
There you go.
See, you can see that graph of the progression of the call. And we'll see this a bit more over voice as well in our next demo, where we're doing a similar thing, but over the phone.
But very cool. We can see that just in this simple demo, there are a lot of different AWS services involved in making this work. So you have Lex, you have you're translating, you're doing the sentiment analysis. You use Kendra as well for indexing, for instance, a knowledge base for that ride-sharing company.
Yeah, and this is really a strength of Amazon Connect, is that you have all the puzzle pieces of the AWS services to really easily build and integrate into a much better solution. If you can think of it, you can probably build it.
Right. So there's a question on this specific demo in regards to logins. So would the customer login and agent login be within Amazon Connect?
So the agent login is within Amazon Connect. The customer login is within a CRM system. I believe that this demo was built essentially just using a DynamoDB on the back end to kind of create a fake CRM system. But you keep track of that outside of Amazon Connect. So the Amazon Connect is not a CRM system, so you don't have your customers in it.
And it could also be an anonymous chat, I suppose. So you wouldn't have to have any login.
You wouldn't have to have any login. You can put a totally anonymous chat on the website, for sure. Right. But when you do that, then you can't log in and get your chat history and all these things.
Cool. All right, so we're 40 minutes into the show, looking at Amazon Connect with Thomas joining us early morning in Florida. So let's move on to the next section, Thomas.
Yep, let's kill these for now.
And if you have any questions, do like your fellow viewers and just post them in the chat.
So let me find where I am. Okay. And I'll make sure that we're logged into the right, because when I log into this demo, that's what brings me into the wrong Amazon Connect instance as well. So I need to just re-log into my instance here to do the next demo.
That's fine. So in the meantime, can you, if you're able to do two things at once, can you tell us where are we moving now?
So now we're going to do a demo where we do a phone call in, and we're going to demo the AI and ML features of transcribing the phone call live and reacting to phrases that are spoken. And we have it. This is actually following a blog post that I think you have the link to that you could put in the chat as well. So this is something that you guys can do for yourselves. Just follow the blog post and you can try this out.
Post it in the chat.
And you can.
And to give some background, to use voice, to have call-in functionality, what's needed to be able to set up a contact center with voice?
Oh, really, all you need is an AWS account, and then just type in Amazon Connect as a service and follow the instructions. You can go in here under phone numbers here, and you can choose claim a phone number. Let's see. So if you click claim a phone number here, you can choose what country you want to get a phone number in. So you could choose Sweden in here as well. Though I believe when you choose Sweden, it wants you to have an actual address to connect that to. But if it says here, to claim a phone number in this country, please provide a valid business address in that country.
But so you don't need to get in touch with the phone company to get the numbers that way.
No, like if we choose a US number here, for example, I just get a list of numbers and say, okay, I want that one, and let's claim it. Sure, test, and we want to connect that to my authentication flow. Save. I now have another number.
All right, it's easy enough.
It is that easy.
Yeah. So there's a question as well in the chat about using it with WhatsApp. Is Connect WhatsApp Business enabled, allowing it to connect to WhatsApp business account? Or is that like a third-party connection that you would then do yourself?
So there's no native integration with WhatsApp. I honestly would have to look into to see what APIs are available for WhatsApp specifically to do that integration. If they have APIs, we should be able to integrate into it. But I haven't integrated to WhatsApp personally.
Right.
So let's have a look here at this voice demo. In here under rules, this is where we would, when we choose to transcribe a call live, we can set up a rule. And we can say here, when during real-time, if real-time analysis is available, look for these specific phrases or words. So if we call in and we say something like, this is fraud, or I didn't purchase this item, we wanted to tag this phone call as a fraud call. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to call into my first agent, who's like the general agent, and I'm going to state say some of these things. And I'm going to show you that this call gets tagged as fraud, and we can see that on our real-time dashboard. So that's where a supervisor could see that there's an ongoing phone call that is a fraud call, so they can look into that a bit more closely. Then I'm going to transfer this to a fraud queue, and they're going to hear we're going to take the tag, in this case fraud, and play that back to the next agent so that they hear that it's a fraud call, because maybe this is a queue just for supervisors, and they can hear, is this a fraud or is it for some other reason it's been transferred. So I'm going to have to log in as one more agent because I need my second agent to transfer to.
Yep. Multi-browser.
Yeah. I'll start an incognito window here and log myself into the second one.
And fraud in this case is just one example. It could basically be anything.
It could be anything. Exactly. You can name it anything, and you can put whatever it is you're looking for in the real time as well. So let me call in my phone number for this. Actually, I also need to make sure that I take this stuff off mute so that everybody can hear the agent experience. There. And Amazon Connect.
Thank you for calling. Your call is very important to us and will be answered in the order it was received.
So, and this music here, you can customize. You can upload your own WAV file here. Let me close this contact that was in here before.
Basic queue.
So here, when this came in, hopefully you heard it said basic queue, and that's our default whisper flow that's set up. That's set up to play the name of the queue that the call came in on. So now, this is the default voice experience for an agent. And much like the chat experience, this can be extended. And let's say some of these phrases that we have on here. So we'll say something like, I do not recognize this transaction. I did not purchase this item. This is a fraudulent transaction. This is fraud. We'll see, I got some feedback there, so hopefully it picked this up properly. If we look at our real-time metrics, and we'll look at agents here. Yep. So we can see we have an ongoing call here. This looks a bit weird because I've logged in through my developer account. But we can see we have an ongoing voice call, and we can see that it has been tagged here. It has a red little dot on it. In fact, it caught this fraud rule twice. So this is what a supervisor would see, usually with more agents than two. So let's click on this call that's tagged as fraud. And in here, we can see the transcribed utterances, and we can see the sentiment analysis that they are unhappy. So this is what a supervisor could log in. They could see what's going on, and they know that they need to act on this. So in this case, let's transfer this call. If I can find my agent in here. Here we go. So I'm going to use my quick connects here, and I'm going to say, okay, I want to transfer this to this fraud queue instead. And let me find my other agent. He's right here. So I'm going to accept this call.
Call transferred for reason fraud.
So in this case, we heard there, hopefully, that they heard that it was fraud twice in this case. That was the reason for this transfer.
Yeah.
And so this shows you just these the ability to pick up real-time transcription, act on these rules. That's all out of the box. You can just enable that with a single click. Enable contact lens. What we did here that was a little bit extra was that we used an API to call into this contact lens functionality and pull back the tag, the fraud tag, so that we could send that to the second agent. And what we're also actually pulling back is the entire transcript and the sentiment analysis. Now, we're not showing that here because the out-of-the-box contact control panel that we have here, it doesn't show additional fields, but you can build your own custom contact control panel, and you can then show that entire transcript in here. If we go look at the logs for this call, let's go bring in the logs here. If we open the console, we can go into CloudWatch. So Amazon Connect logs into CloudWatch if you enable that, which is quite useful.
Eating up your bandwidth with the stream right now, Thomas.
Yeah, something. So we'll go to this, go find the log groups. Does appear to be a bit slow this morning.
Yeah, no worries. So we're approaching the top of the hour, 8 minutes to go, talking about Amazon Connect with Thomas Rindfors. Now let's see, CloudWatch logs.
Yeah, log streams. So here we can see this call that we made at 7:49 for me, because it's not quite 8 a.m. over here. And we can filter this so we don't have to look for the entire thing. So we'll just look for a field that I know we should have in here that is called real-time contact lens analytics. So in here, we can see that in these logs, we did capture the conversation. So we can see the participants, the customer here, what it was. I did not recognize this transaction. I did not purchase this item. And that's a sentiment of negative. And it matched a category of type fraud. So all of this is available that we could then push to the agent experience and show them this transcript and associated sentiment analyses.
So with it being integrated into CloudWatch, we could also set up alarms. We could use this data in dashboards or any way we would, basically.
Yes. Now, we can also enable streaming of all. Each phone call creates a contact trace record with all the data related to that call. And we can enable this to be streamed to an S3 bucket automatically. And from there, we can do whatever analysis we want. So if you don't like the built-in reporting that's in Amazon Connect, stream it all to an S3 bucket, put Athena on there and do analytics using QuickSight or your preferred BI tool, and you can build whatever dashboards you want. So you could stream your Amazon Connect data into there, and then you could you could use that as part of a data lake to have more comprehensive analytics as well.
5 minutes to go, Thomas. So we won't have time to go through an entire full demo.
I can show you some interesting things. So
yes.
when we enabled that initial chat, all it said was, please hold while we transfer you to the next available agent. You can hard code that directly in the contact flow. But in this case, I used a different blog that I think, Gunnar, you can put out there as well, that just through a script pushed in a lot of configuration, well, not that much. So we have a DynamoDB database and a Lambda that can be used to pull all these prompts out of a database. So if we go to DynamoDB, and we have a look at our tables in here. I have one here called ML flows messages. We can look at the items that's in there. And here I can create an item for each contact flow. So in this case, I have my Nordic demo item. If I choose to watch that and look at that as a text, I can configure here a message group, Nordic demo, and I can configure a message ID that's a transfer message in this time. And then based on the language that I'm sending in, so if I send in English, then I get back this prompt that would be spoken back if you call in by phone. And I've modified this blog slightly so that it will detect if you're chatting in. And so if you chat, it'll send back a different prompt. That way you can have different verbiage if you're chatting or talking, because you wouldn't want to say, please say, if you're chatting, you would say, please enter instead. So you have these in the database. We can have a quick look at the Lambda. If we have time, we can go all the way back into Connect and see how that's called. This is something I use all the time because it's much easier to have this configured in the database instead of hard-coded. It makes changes a lot easier. Flow message retriever. Two minutes to go, racing the clock.
So this is the Lambda function that we would call in Amazon Connect to fetch data from DynamoDB.
We'd use that integration block we looked at earlier to call this. And we'd send in some parameters in here. We'd send in the language, the name of the message we want to retrieve, and the message group. So in this case, the Nordic demo. And I've added just a few lines of code here, right here, that looks at the channel, because that's sent in by default. So we look at if the event.details.contactdata.channel, if that is of type chat, then we append -chat to the language. So that way we can have one prompt pulled back for chat and a different one for voice. And it's very easy then to add in additional rows for Spanish, Swedish, what have you. So if you have an application and you want to add another language, it's super simple. And all you have to do is put a prompt up front where you say, press 1 for English, press 2 for Swedish, and you set that language parameter. And then you use that parameter to send into this Lambda to bring back the relevant prompts.
Right. And I think that's going to be our final words. But the thing I took away from that sentence was super simple, because I think everything you've shown has shown us that using Amazon Connect can really be super simple. So Absolutely. With that, thank you very much, Thomas, for joining us. Early morning for you. And thanks everyone for watching. This has been the AWS Nordics Office Hours. Thank you very much, everyone.